WDRB Fox News at 10 starts now.
An officer-involved crash, a separate chase, and a fight ends with the police shooting a 19-year-old man 4 times. Good evening, I'm Julie Tam. Up until just a few years ago, local police could not send rape kits filled with DNA evidence to the Kentucky Forensic Lab unless police had a suspect. Whenever a home or business alarm goes off, the sheriff says it takes an officer an average of 13 minutes to go and check it out. Sergeant Robert Biven with Louisville Metro Police joins us now by phone. Sergeant Biven, where are you seeing the worst conditions on the roads right now?
Well, Julie,
crews cleared so much snow they ran out of places to pile it all, so some of it was left piled in the streets. Drivers now are having to navigate around those snow mounds. Forecasters say more than 8 inches of snow blanketed parts of the state. Not quite that much snow around here, but enough to wreak havoc on the roadways.
Follow that in the department of it could always be worse, right?
Yeah. Well, the Floyd County Sheriff says at least 3 burglars broke into 4 homes and tried to break into 2 other homes. What they would do are things like this: check the mailbox to see if there was a bunch of mail piled up, and if so, it was probably an indication the homeowner was not home, or check for newspapers piled up in the driveway. Well, in one Georgetown, Indiana case, there were no cars in the driveway, but the mother and daughter were actually home. It was the week between Christmas and the New Year. At about 4:30 in the morning at Laura Hack's home,
I was sound asleep. My dog was in my bedroom, and I heard this bang, and it woke both of us up, and she took off barking.
Laura's daughter was woken up too.
The police think they kicked this door first, but then they kicked this, and it caused, I didn't have the poinsettia there, but it caused a bunch of the stuff to fall off the shelf and crash.
With burglars trying to break in through their back door, Angel, the golden retriever, unleashed her wrath.
And that made me realize that something was going on. I was just terrified. So I called 911.
Officers arrived quickly, but the crooks had fled.
The dog had, scared him away. She's such a sweet dog that you never expect that she's gonna, do that, but she did. She saved us. She was the hero.
On that December night, there was a thin layer of snow here on the deck, so officers could see boot prints leading up to the back door and then back out into the woods.
I was very happy that they caught him.
2 teenage boys whom neighbors had seen in a white Ford Taurus, and a man in his 20s arrested today.
Miles A. Parker, you're under arrest for burglary.
Detectives say the 3 young men had stolen about $30,000 worth of guns, TVs, computers, and other electronics. Miles Parker said he too was a victim.
They were trying to tell me I had to come down here because my TV was stolen.
Regardless, the Hacks know if they're ever targeted again, their guardian angel will do her job.
She's wonderful. We love her.
Now, the sheriff suspects those 3 of breaking into 3 storage units in Floyd County, as well as several vehicles at a Charlestown apartment complex, and detectives are still looking for at least 1 more suspect. For now, reporting live in Floyd County, Julie Tam, Fox 41 News.
Fox 41's Julie Tam joins us now. So, Julie, what is a student accusing him of?
Well, Timothy Lands, before he was suspended last week, he was teaching social studies, including psychology and history. One of his students, a 16-year-old girl, is now accusing him of inappropriate comments, inappropriate remarks. A third party alleges he wrote the remarks electronically, which could be by cell phone, texting, email, or another form of online messaging. I talked to the school district's attorney, and he says inappropriate can mean sexual remarks or any other comment that goes beyond what a teacher and student should be discussing. Tim Lands has been a teacher at Bullitt Central for 8 years. He passed a criminal background check when he was hired, and he has had no disciplinary problems. One year, he in fact was named Teacher of the Year in Bullitt County. But now he's being investigated by the school district, the Bullitt County Sheriff's Department, and the Cabinet for Families and Children, which is now called the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. Now, school officials told me Lands went above and beyond, doing more than the typical teacher. He also helped with several after-school activities and fundraising events.
Been an exemplary teacher, and unfortunately, what happens when we have allegations that are made for the protection of the student and the teacher, it is the practice of this district to separate the two, and because there are not positions available for reassignment, and the district's not in a position to pay for no work being performed.
Now, an assistant principal told me he feels really bad about the situation, especially if any of these allegations are not true.
So what if he's cleared?
Well, if he's cleared, first of all, he'll get his job back, he'll get to go back to teaching, and then the school district will pay him for the time that he missed while he was suspended. Now, if, of course, the accusations turn out to be false, then the girl who made them would be the one facing disciplinary action.
When it comes to Christmas gifts, most people buy new things like the latest high-tech gadgets.
But some people are going for new things made with very old technology. When you step into Hound Dog Press, it's like you've stepped back in time. It's a place where the phrase hot off the press should be taken literally.
You know, our recent press is from 1916. We actually found that on eBay.
This one is the oldest, dating back to the late 1800s. What comes out of these old-time machines are all things printed, from Christmas cards to save-the-date cards to invitations to custom stationery. And not just on paper, but also on other materials, soft and hard. One thing that may seem out of place here in this old-fashioned printing shop is this 2009 Mac OS flat-screen computer. But it serves a purpose. People can email their designs and then Hound Dog Press can print them in the old-fashioned way.
There's definitely character to this. You know, you're actually involved pretty much from beginning to end.
Something you won't get with mass printing at a modern facility. But the texture of letterpress that you can see and feel will also cost you more.
You know, feeding one piece at a time, you know, running one color at a time, the price, makes sense.
Robert Ronk and Nick Bowdy opened their shop in the Melwood Arts and Entertainment Center in November of last year, right in the middle of the recession. But they've expanded and acquired more equipment, and business has been growing. School groups and other tourists have gotten to see the printing process up close.
But just having these machines in the shop, it's a museum, pretty much, a working museum.
Now, Fox 41 was at the grand opening last year, and since then, business cards have been their best sellers. And for the holidays, a few companies are having Hound Dog Press make custom postcards. Senator Mitch McConnell said today he has secured more than $48 million for Kentucky. Now he's just waiting on the president's signature. The money is part of this year's omnibus appropriations bill. Kentucky's portion contains $20 million for state military projects, another $20 million for Kentucky's universities, and the rest would go toward transportation, economic and development projects, and law enforcement. Looks like the Grinch has already shown up in northern Kentucky. Police say vandals in Ashland caused between $8,000 to $10,000 in damage to the city's Winter Wonderland of Lights display in Central Park. The display is paid for by private donors and businesses, and police don't have any suspects, but they are stepping up patrols. If a Christmas gift card is already burning a hole in your pocket, the best advice is spend it soon.
As Doug Lazader explains, the rules on gift cards are changing, and it may have a big impact on you. Well, the Kentucky Wildcat football team in a historic game tonight.
The football Cats are on the field right now in Nashville, going for a school record 4th consecutive bowl victory. And John Lewis is here now with an update.
There was protest today over a Louisville sex offender who will be ordained as a minister on Sunday. Good evening, everyone. I'm David Scott.
And I'm Julie Tam in for Elizabeth Woolsey. Mark Horrigan admits he sodomized a child, went to prison for it, and now wants to become a pastor. And members we talked to say they're okay with that.
And I've learned that I have to change the way that I think in order to change my actions and my behaviors.
Now, church members I spoke with this evening did not want to go on camera, but they did say that Horrigan has talked openly about his past and even encourages fellow churchgoers to watch him whenever he's around children. The members say the church has more than 40 members and fewer than 5 are children. You won't have to buy a ticket to see the Governor's Cup if you are an Insight cable customer. Insight has made arrangements with ESPN to make the annual matchup available to all of its Louisville and Lexington customers. That is whether or not their current package includes ESPNU, which is where it's airing. Insight says this is a one-time arrangement with ESPN.